Hey Jacob, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you absolutely fine. Can you hear me fine as well?
You well, yes.
Perfect. Jacob, thank you for this live webinar. Um, uh, Again, just a quick introduction to everyone. My name is Mohammed Yunus. I'm the founder and CEO of vFairs. Along with me, I have Jacob Bank, founder of Relay.app. We'll have him just introduce Relay.app just as a start, and then we'll get started to learn a bit more about how to build AI agents for the event tech industry.
Yeah, sounds good. Shall I dive right in?
Jacob, yeah, if you want to just introduce a bit more about Relay.app, and then I will just tell you a bit more about some of the challenges that event planners face, and then, we can just get right in.
Yes. So my name is Jacob Bank. I'm the founder and CEO of Relay.app. Relay.app is a platform to build AI agents that do work on your behalf. And I'll show you in great detail what an AI agent is and how to make your own.
Perfect. Jacob, so I will let you show what you plan to show, but just high level. See, I myself have been event planner for over a decade. And whenever we are planning for a conference, you just have to realize that we as event planners don't have just one boss. We have many, many bosses. Attendees are above us because we want to have as many attendees as possible to sign up. We want to reach out to speakers because we want to get speakers like you sign up for a conference, be one of the speakers. Then we also want to reach out to sponsors, exhibitors to come and be the sponsor of the event. To get the right attendees, the right speakers, the right exhibitors, you typically have to reach out to them with a very personalized email of why they should register, sign up for a conference that we are running. Doing it manually takes a lot of time, but we would love to see how with Relay.app, with an agent, we can do that personalization at scale, if that's possible.
Yeah. Sounds good. I'll show you how to solve that particular use case, but then more importantly, I'll show you the techniques that you can use to address any element of your event preparation, whether it's dealing with sponsors, dealing with attendees, welcome emails, follow-ups, etc. I'll show you how it all fits into sort of the framework of designing this set of AI teammates that can work on your behalf.
That's amazing.
Okay, let's dive in. I'm going to start with about a 10-minute slide deck, and then I'm going to go into a live build. So can everyone see my screen?
Uh, yes. How to build a team of AI agents. And let me just make sure that everyone else can also see it. Uh, yep, everyone can see it now.
Okay, great. So first, who am I? As I mentioned, I'm currently the founder of Relay.app, which is an AI agent and workflow building tool. Before that, I spent many years at Google, where I was the product lead for Gmail and for Google Calendar, among other tools in the productivity umbrella within Google. And then once upon a time, I was an AI researcher who thought I was going to be a professor. And I want to show you three things quickly. One is, what is an AI agent? Number two is how AI agents are going to change your work. And number three is how you can build your own. So first, what is an AI agent? Let me first read off the technical definition of an AI agent. The technical definition of an AI agent is a software system that uses AI to pursue goals and complete tasks on your behalf. It has reasoning, planning, and memory, and has autonomy to make decisions, learn, and adapt. So what this definition is evoking is that it's more autonomous, it has more judgment, it has more flexibility and more freedom than a typical AI tool that you may have used in the past or software system you may have used in the past. But I find that this definition doesn't fully communicate how you'd want to use an AI agent in your work and why it's different from a traditional productivity tool. So let me try to break it down in a slightly different way that I think will be more understandable. There are three ways that we should all use AI in our work. And I bet everyone is using at least the first and probably the second as well. The first is a chatbot. This is ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or Grok. Pick your favorite. You go to a website and you type in questions and it gives you back answers. It's a live synchronous text-based conversation with an AI thought partner. You can use it for critiquing your work, giving you coaching, doing research on your behalf, etc. But it's a text-based conversation. You go visit it. The second is a copilot. And a copilot lives within whatever tool you're using to do your work. So like, let's say you like to make slides and you use Gamma as your copilot to create slides. Or you make tables in Airtable and you use the Airtable Omni Copilot to make tables in Airtable. Or you're a developer and you use Cursor to write code. That's a copilot where typically a copilot, you'll know you're in a copilot experience if 80% of the screen is on the right? Producing sort of some artifact, a document, a slide deck, a table. And then 20% on the left of the screen will be like a text based interface where you're chatting with your copilot that's helping you manipulate the experience on the right. An agent is different. An agent works on your behalf on its own. So this is a huge, huge shift in the way you should think about productivity software. Chatbots and copilots are amazing. They're AI enhanced. They can do incredible things, but they're still fundamentally productivity tools. You go to a website, you go to an app, you type, you click, you press buttons, and then the AI helps you get your work done in the context of that tool in a live synchronous session. An agent, on the other hand, there's a big, big shift. It's going from a place where you go to do work to a doer of work on your behalf. This is a huge, huge shift. So an AI agent has three characteristics. Number one, it's proactive. It will wake up on its own to do work for you. It will know automatically 2 weeks in advance of the conference that you should send everyone their personalized email with who they should meet while they're there. It will be integrated. It can directly take actions in your tool. It can read data from spreadsheets. It can send email on your behalf. It can access data in your Airtable or your Notion. And because it's doing these tasks repeatedly for you over time, much like an employee would, it can learn to do those tasks better. I want to briefly touch on this idea of workflow versus agent. If you're in the space, you might have heard this debate of what's an agent versus what a workflow. Let me quickly explain the difference and then why I don't think it matters in most cases. Every task has a flowchart. Going to the grocery store has a flowchart. First, I go to the produce section, then I go to the meat section, then I go to the dairy section, then I go to the dry goods sections. Every task has a flowchart. The difference between a workflow and an agent is who defines that flowchart and when. In a workflow, the flowchart is defined in advance by the workflow creator, probably you. In an agent, the agent comes up with its own flowchart on the fly. Now, both of these sides of the spectrum to me, they still fall into the definition of a practical AI agent that does work on your behalf. It's just a question of how precise you want to be in your instructions versus how much autonomy you want to give your agent. So, takeaway: AI agents are fundamentally different from any kind of productivity software you've ever used in the past. They do work on your behalf on their own. Second, what is work going to look like in the future of AI agents? This is the big transition. You're going to think about productivity software not as apps or places where you go to do work, but AI teammates that do work on your behalf. And so every person on this call 5 years from now is going to have a very different kind of org chart than they have today. Today, you have an org chart of all the people in your organization. In the future, you're going to have a combined org chart that has people and also has AI teammates inside of it. And within each AI teammate, you'll be able to see what the job responsibilities of that AI teammate are, what work they've done on your behalf, what work they're going to do next, where they need your input to do their work, etc. This is the world we're moving towards. So teams are going to have fewer specialized junior execution roles, fewer purely bureaucratic roles that come from managing large groups of people, and more generalists that get leverage from AI agents. So we're going to see a lot of small, fast-moving teams of autonomous super ICs. That's the way company building, in my opinion, is going to happen in the future. And the best way to equip yourself for that is to get really good at building and working with your AI teammates. And I know this is going to be true because I'm already living it as part of building this tool. At Related App, we have no marketing team, no sales team, no customer success team, no finance team, no HR team, no recruiting team. All of those roles are played by me and my team of my
Wow.
teams of AI agents. So I made this post on LinkedIn a couple months ago, back when our marketing team was me and 40 AI agents. Now it's more like 65. But you can see that this really resonated with a large audience because it's like a glimpse in what the future of work is going. So the takeaway, you should think about the way you're going to move towards the future of work is small teams of super ICs, generalists with a lot of strategic insight into many areas of the business, managing dozens of AI agents. So last, and this is the meat of the session that I'm really excited to show you, is how do you build your own AI agent? Because this all sounds very overwhelming and different, like, oh my God, 40 AI agents as a team, but it starts with building one AI agent that does one thing for you. And so you should think about building your own AI agent just like you would think of building, like hiring a new intern or employee. And you start with a job description. So here's an example. Let's say I wanted to hire a Reddit marketer, a Reddit focused marketer, because Reddit is such an important marketing channel right now. LLMs lean on it heavily for their answers. It's a community of people who are interested in your space. And let's say I wrote a job description of here are the 4 things I want my Reddit marketer to do. I want them to see when people are talking about my competitors. I want it to see when people are talking about me. I want them to identify opportunities in relevant subreddits where we can comment and engage productively in conversations. And I want it to draft original posts for me based on trending topics if I want to promote something or share some wisdom with the group. Once you've created the job description, you give your AI agent its first skill. And so what I'm showing here is, and I know you've all used ChatGPT, so this prompt on the left will be very familiar to you. You are a competitive researcher. Here are the competitors. Please search Reddit for mentions and create a Google Doc report. Then you give your AI agent tools that it can use to achieve that goal. So in particular here, I've given it the tools that it can look up posts on Reddit and it can create reports in Google Docs. Then once you have that core skill, you wrap that skill into a more structured task and you say, every day, I want you to do this report, and then I want you to send it to me in a message over Slack. After you've given your AI agent a few tasks, you'll have an AI teammate that finds opportunities to comment. It listens to competitor brands. It creates ideas. It listens to your own brand. It kind of maps to that original job description you had out. And then eventually you'll have a full team once you ladder up. And so the takeaway is when you want to build an AI agent, you write a job description, you teach the agent some skills, you give it tasks, and then you repeat. And so with that, I want to transition into a concrete use case. So here's the concrete use case that I wanted to show that I think is relevant for event planners and kind of gets at the need Mohammed was sharing about personalizing emails. So what I have here is a very simple list of conference registrations I have so far. This happens to be just the employees of Relay.app because those are the easiest names that came to mind. But of course, you would have your own spreadsheet of conference registrations. And now what I want to do is I want to create an AI agent that's going to be responsible for the attendee experience at the conference. And the attendee experience is going to have many components. So let's just start with one specific component, which is 2 weeks before the conference, for every single person that's attending, I want to send them a personalized email that says, "Hey, Mohammed, I'm really excited to see you in 2 weeks. In advance, I just wanted to send you a heads up on 3 people that I think you should really meet while you're there. Here's the 3 people you should meet. Here are their LinkedIn profiles. Go ahead, connect, and start the conversation now so that you're ready to make the most of the live event." And so I'm going to show you how to build a simple AI agent that, based on this spreadsheet and based on a new person coming into the conference, can automatically do this matching. So what we're going to build here is an attendee matcher. And so the core skill is going to be you're going to take in the information about a new person and you're going to write a personalized email that matches them with the others. So let me show you how this is going to work. First, I'm going to decide what triggers this AI agent. The trigger is what is going to wake it up and start working on our behalf. If you've used tools like Zapier or other workflows in the tools in the past, the concept of a trigger will be something you're familiar with. In this case, just for testing purposes, I'm going to use a manual trigger. In practice, for you, you would trigger based on a new row being added to a spreadsheet or a new form being submitted or whatever system you're using to organize the event you'd use. But in this case, I'm going to say a manual trigger, and a new user has come in with a name and a job title. So I've taken in a new person with a name and a job title, and now I need to look through our attendee list and find out who I want to recommend to them. So now I'm going to create an AI agent, and I'm going to say, given a new attendee that just signed up for our event, please write a personalized email expressing excitement that they're joining and share the LinkedIn profile URLs and bios of 3 people that the attendee should. So I've written a prompt again, just like I would in ChatGPT. And now I need to give the AI the access to the information that it needs to complete this task. So it needs the name of the new attendee. It needs the job title of the new attendee. Please share the, I actually don't have the LinkedIn profiles. Please share the names and titles of 3 people that the attendees should meet. And now, so I've written the prompt. I've passed in the name and the job title. Now I need to give this AI agent knowledge, which is that spreadsheet. I want to give the AI agent access to the spreadsheet so it can reference all of the attendees when it's doing this matching process. And to do that, I'm going to add to the agent's knowledge base, and I'm going to put conference registrations into the AI agent's knowledge base. So you can see here that this is just a little preview. Like, yes, I'm adding this to my knowledge base. So now you're going to see that the AI is going to use its access to these conference registrations. It's going to use this information about the name and job title, and it's going to use GPT-5 as the model. And what it's going to draft is a text email. So let me rename this step, and I'm going to say draft personalized email debate on attendees. And now that I've created this, I want to test it to make sure that it works before I chain it up to the actual draft. So let's say Mohammed, you're attending. So I'm gonna try to spell your name right from memory without looking. Now I'm gonna look. Oh, it's an A. And let me make sure I spell it right. Oh,
Lajapa, CEO.
CEO. So let's see how good of an email the AI generates for you. Okay. So it says, here's the subject. Hi, Mohammed. We're thrilled you for joining us. As CEO, we think you'll have especially valuable conversations with Jacob Bank, founder CEO of Related App, Tice, product Related App, Annika. If you'd like, I'm happy to make formal introductions so you can connect before or during the event. That's actually a pretty good email. it, it's not bad. I noticed a couple things that were wonky about it. It output this. I should have done this better. I should have said, please output a subject and a body, because every email needs a subject and a body, and I want the AI to generate both of those. So now so you can see now I've switched to please verify that the joining and includes, please output only the email, the subject and body. So you can see here I'm giving my AI instructions in the prompt so that it'll output the right information I need, because all I need for the personalized email is the email subject and body. So you'll see that I'm doing this kind of dance where I'm adapting the prompt and the output is adapting as we go. And then I'm going to test the prompt again with the same data, and let's see how well it does. And you can see that this would have used AI credits in a real run, which is like a fraction of a cent. So it's like amazing how cheap this stuff is, and how valuable it can be. Okay, so here's email. Welcome aboard, Mohammed. We're excited to have you at the event. And then here's the email body. Partner building and scaling, insights into product strategy, designing intuitive UIs. This is a from writing like a 1-sentence prompt. I'll just flash the screen again. It's quite a good email. Of course, if you were doing this for real, you'd write a more detailed prompt. You'd have examples of the emails you want to send. But this is the fundamental technology.
Yeah. No, but this is brilliant. Again, what I love about is that the email itself is just pretty natural. It doesn't look like it's coming from just AI.
Yeah, it's actually amazing how natural it looks out of the box. And of course, if you gave it some more examples of emails that you've written and guidance about your tone, it would be even better. Okay, so now I've equipped the AI agent with this core skill. It can draft personalized email based on attendees. Now I need to hook that up to actually creating an email draft. And so in this case, I'm just going to demonstrate in Gmail. Of course, you would use whatever email marketing tool you use, Constant Contact, ConvertKit, whatever you're using for your event. And I'm going to say Gmail, send email, and send email. I have to put an address of who I'm sending this to. So I actually realize I need to have the email address of this attendee. So I'm going to send an email to the attendee. I'm going to put in the subject that the AI produced, and I'm going to put in the body that the AI produced. And now, so you can see I have that core skill, draft personalized email based on attendee. And now I've wrapped this up into a workflow that I can invoke. I can ask my little attendee matcher AI employee, anytime I want to send an email to each person, I can start a run manually, and then it's going to send the email. Where this would get very powerful is if I change starting a run manually to, for example, when a form is filled out or when our internal system, that tracks attendees gets a new attendee.
Jacob, this is mind blowing. Again, very quick question. When you say send email, and of course, that's how it should be. People, like, it should be email send. But I'm just thinking from a sponsor perspective, speaker perspective, you just might want to, look at the draft before actually sending it. Do you have that draft mode also for that?
Let me show you. So I'm so glad you mentioned this because I actually just posted about this on LinkedIn this morning. The number one challenge in AI agents right now is not that the models are not smart enough. It's that we can't trust them. Because if you're sending a high stakes email to a sponsor, you're not just going to have AI send this on your behalf. You want AI to do a draft for you. And so let me show you 3 different techniques for different levels of human in the loop adaptation you can do on top of the AI response. The simplest thing you can do is you can change send email in Gmail to create draft in email. And you can create the exact same draft, but you can send it.
Yeah.
You would have a draft in your drafts folder. That's the simplest thing you can do. The second thing you can do is you can add what's called a human in the loop approval step, which just is going to give you a one-time approval saying, we've generated this message. Can I go ahead and send it? And it can send you that approval in Slack or over email. So let me show you that. I'm going to create a human in the loop. And do you see where it says get approval to continue the run?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to send it to myself over Slack. And I'm going to say, should we send this email to this attendee? And then I'm going to put in the attendee name and job title. And I'm going to put in the email draft. And so basically the way this works is I then get a quick message in Slack that's saying, we're about to send this email to Mohammed. Does it look okay? And I can either say, yes, it looks okay. Because the problem with putting an email in your drafts folder is that it might just sit in your drafts folder and never get sent. So this is another technique you can use where if you're confident that the AI is going to be good 80 or 90% of the time, 80 or 90% of the time in Slack, you can just hit approve, send, 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 send. And the 10% of the time that you're not confident, you can come into Gmail and modify the text before it goes out. So technique number 1, create a draft. Technique number 2, create a standalone approval step. The third technique I want to show you is if you want to do sort of more back and forth interaction with the AI before the email is drafted. So for example, you want the AI to produce a rough draft, and then you might want to edit the draft directly, or you may want to give the AI another prompt that's like, actually, for this attendee, can you look for 3 people, or for this sponsor, can you reference this previous case study, not that previous case study? And you'll see in this AI skill where I can draft personalized email based on attendees, you'll see this little section called human review. And that's where you can add yourself as a human in the loop, where you can say, yes, I always want to review this. And if you say I want to review it, you'll be given 3 options. Number 1, approve. AI, you did a good job. Number 2, edit manually. Like, let me just change this email a little bit because I know exactly what I want to say to this sponsor. Or number 3 is write what's called a refinement prompt, where you give the AI more guidance, just like you would do for a junior employee. Imagine a junior employee comes to you with a list of 10 emails to sponsors, and you would say, make this one a little more formal, make this one a little less formal, make sure to reference this case study in these other ones. And so those are the 3 techniques you can use depending on the context and how you want to interact with the AI, where you can add like a human in the loop on top to make sure that you have control over the email that gets sent to your sponsor.
That's brilliant. That's amazing.
So that's the crux. That's the crux of this use case. What I wanted to show you now is how you can hook it up so that instead of starting manually, it starts automatically. Because that's the cool thing about these AI agents. They're proactive. They work automatically. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to my strategy. I'm going to say I have one tab of confirmed attendees. And then I'm going to make another tab of prospective attendees. These are people I want to convince to come. So in prospective attendees, I'm also just going to, for super simplicity, I'm going to have their name and their title. And I'm going to add you as a prospective attendee. So you and your team, you could put whoever you want in this prospective attendee column. And I'm going to put your email. I don't know your actual email, but I'm just going to guess for now.
Sure.
Okay. So now I have confirmed attendees and prospective attendees. And I want to use the confirmed attendees to make the prospective attendees excited about coming. So let me go back and let me modify my attendee matcher. And I'm going to change this from the attendee matcher to the prospective attendee outreach. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch from a manual trigger. I now want to trigger every time a prospective attendee is added to that spreadsheet. So I'm going to make a Google Sheets trigger. When a new row is added, the sheet I want to look at is the conference registrations. Whenever a new row is added to prospective attendees, okay, so given a new prospective attendee that we want to join our event, please explain about the possibility of them joining and include the names and 3 titles of the people that the prospective attendee could meet at the conference. And now I need to fill in the name of the prospective attendee and the title of the prospective attendee. And then I also need, I'm going to remove this human in the loop step for now. And I need to also fix this step to map to the correct attendee email address. So you can see in like 1 minute, I totally changed this use case from welcoming attendees that are already confirmed to enticing prospective attendees to join. And so now every time a new row is added to the prospective attendees, we're going to run this. Let me do a test run. And when I do a test run, it's going to show me the row that's already there. So let me do a quick test run. And now it's in the AI step where it's trying to draft that personalized message. You can see the AI kind of thinking as it's going. This is the kind of thing that feels excruciating when you're watching it, but in practice, remember, it's going to be happening behind the scenes automatically, so you won't have to look at it. Okay, so let's look at the personalized reply. Subject, little bit of a long subject, but I can give the AI some guidance to shorten that. I'll show you how to do that. And then here is the email. We're thrilled about the possibility of welcoming you. Your perspective will be valuable. Here are 3 people you should meet. If you're interested, would you be able to join us? This is a pretty good note. Of course. Okay. Now I need to fill in this email address. But now I can see if I go to Gmail, this draft is here. So right into my Gmail. So now I noticed that the AI agent didn't do a perfect job at this task. There were 2 things I didn't like. I didn't like that the subject was so long. Like, I want the subject to be 6 words maximum. And I didn't like that the final closing was like your name, your title. Like, it's gotta be me. So let me go back into my prompt and I'll show you how to modify that. Okay, I'm gonna say, ensure that the subject is 7 words or fewer. Ensure that the email closes with best Jacob founder relay. Okay, perfect. Now I'm going to test this again. Let's see if it does better. Okay, so the subject now is connect with related app at the event. Pretty good. And the email body is perfect. I'm thrilled about you joining us. Here's if you could meet. I'd love to welcome you and make introductions. And now this is like, that's an email that's actually high quality enough that I would send that thing. I might modify it a little bit in my drafts, but I would send it. Okay, so now we've covered 2 use cases. One is doing matching exercise for existing attendees. Another is confirming prospective attendees. I could show you one more, which is doing the same thing, but for sponsors, but it'd be the same exact technique where I would go into my spreadsheet and I'm going to make another tab, which is prospective sponsors. And let's say you're also a prospective sponsor of the event. Now, the simplest thing is because the sponsor outreach is so similar to the attendee outreach, but I'm just going to duplicate this workflow. And I'm going to call this one prospective sponsor outreach. And so now that I'm doing sponsor outreach instead of attendee outreach, I need to change two things. Number one is I need to use that sponsor tab instead of the attendee tab so that the emails are going to be sent to the right people. And then number two, I need to go into that AI skill, that personalized email, and I need to make it more appropriate for sponsors. So let me show you how to do both those things. First is you can see that the sheet it's working off of is still prospective attendees. I want to replace that with prospective sponsors. And then I want to do these replacements. We have this nice like little replacement thing where it lets you quickly replace all the things in line. And now I'm going to change this, say, draft personalized email to sponsor. And so again, I'm going to so given a prospective sponsor that we want to join our event, about the possibility of them sponsoring and include the names and titles of 3 prospective attendees that are indicative of the high quality audience they can reach by sponsoring our event. And so I just made this tiny, tiny change to the prompt, and now I'm going to test it again. And so you can see here that once you get good at these techniques, when you get good at figuring out how to trigger based on the right spreadsheet and you get good at creating these prompts and AI skills, you can see how very quickly you could build AI agents that take on the responsibilities of probably, and this is not like super fun, high intellectual engagement work. This is a lot of grunt work, and you can free up your team for then the more advanced conversations with the higher tier sponsors or the best speakers or something like that. Okay, so let's see what the AI spent. Sponsor the Related App Summit. Okay, so this is not ideal that it says hi first name. And it also totally made up these things. Oh, I know why it did that. I forgot to give it the knowledge. So this is why attaching knowledge is so important. Let me just go back to this again because it's pretty funny. It totally made these up. If you don't give the AI the knowledge that it needs, it will make things up. And so then what I did is I went back to this and I attached the knowledge. You always want to make sure that the AI has access to the knowledge it needs. And now if I check again, it'll reference let me sponsor name, sponsor title. Let me test this again. Okay, let's let this go for one moment, and then I want to turn it over to questions because I've covered a lot already in 35 minutes.
No.
Okay, I just want to see if we get this if this sponsor email is better. There we go. Okay. This is a little annoying. It didn't fill in the name of the company, but it did reference the right people from the attendee list. Okay, so let me just quickly wrap up. So in the 10-minute slides, which I can share if folks are interested after, I showed what an AI agent is. It does work on your behalf. It's like a big shift in productivity from a tool I go to an AI teammate that does work on my behalf. I talked a little about how I think we should all think about how our teams and careers are going to evolve in light of this reality. And then we spent a bunch of time building a couple of specific AI agents that were all in the spirit of personalized research-based emails to welcome attendees, entice prospective attendees to join, or entice prospective sponsors to join. And they all have the same basic technique, which is when I add a new thing to my spreadsheet, use AI to do something smart, in this case, generating a personalized email, and then automatically create a draft in my Gmail. And I showed a couple of ways that you can make sure that you trust that the AI is doing good work by adding a human in the loop, either by creating a draft or by creating a standalone human in the loop step, or by having that more interactive human review with the AI step. So I hope everyone watching this now feels confident to fire up Related App and start making your own AI agents, or at least explore.
Yeah. We do a lot of our own events, so we'll definitely get started on it. Jacob, just a quick thing on pricing, because of course a lot of us use a lot of AI tools right now, and really the first question is, how many credits that can be somehow guesstimate which plan I would be best suited to. So for us, like which is a typical vFairs customer, most of the events are between 500 to 1,000 people. these are the actual restaurants, which means that in order for you to get those people who will sign up for those, you typically have to reach out to, let's say, at least 4 times, 5 times more. So, your prospect list is around 3,000 people, so that you have around 500,000 people sign up. Uh, and I see that, of course, you have the professional, you have the team, and then there's customer. Just help me understand the difference between professional, team, and enterprise. So there's users, of course, and in most cases, people might need the multiple user one, which is the team one. But then how many, because I saw that each one of those emails were consuming 9 credits. Let's round it off to 10. So for 1,000 people conference, I would be needing around 10,000 credits, right?
So there's 2 units of billing for all of the tools in our category. There's steps
Yep.
and AI credits. And steps you can calculate directly based on, I've got 10,000 attendee or 1,000 people, and each thing is 2 steps. I'm going to need 2,000 steps or 3,000 steps or 10,000 steps or whatever. And then AI credits, large language models charge based on how many tokens are consumed. So how much input and how much output. So that example I showed there was 10 credits. That was with GPT-5 and a knowledge base of 1 spreadsheet. A personalized email could take anywhere from 5 to 50 credits, depending on how much context you're putting into it. But and so yes, you could easily calculate the number of steps and the number of AI credits. But I think we've actually done people a huge disservice by making steps and credits so prominent, because we're all optimizers by personality. We're like, oh, I wonder if I could cut 5 credits here or cut 5 steps here. But 10,000 AI credits cost $20, and 10,000 steps costs like, I can't remember exactly, but I think roughly $100. So if you think about it that way, and imagine if your alternative was a human on your team writing personalized emails for everyone. Yes, I'm not saying you should be wasteful of steps and AI credits, but I'm saying the most important thing is this AI agent adding a ton of value to you? And then if it costs you $100, $200, or $300, that should all feel super cheap.
100%. And again,
It's not something that's going to cost $10,000 a month or $1,000 a month. Like this use case we showed would be like $100 to $200 per event.
which again, typically it would take at least that's typically someone's job for at least a couple of months, or a 500 people, like a couple of months, that's how much time. Just so that I'm clear on the difference between when you say step. So as you were going through that workflow, was those were the 3 steps,
This
right?
this was actually you can see my screen again now. This is actually 2 steps. The trigger doesn't count. So this would be 1 AI step and then 1 step to generate the draft. So that would be 2 steps per attendee.
Makes sense. Perfect. And just so that we also know, for absolutely enterprise customers, see, you have trained just right now. And again, after this 30 minutes training, I feel that pretty much anyone with a non-marketing team who are not even tech people can easily go and figure it out. But I just feel that, they are such an enterprise world. People want that first training. I see that you have tons of material available on your website. So just guide us typical journey of how someone should go
Well,
learning English.
basically, we see our customers fit into 3 categories. There's 3 ways to buy a tool like ours, and this is not unique to Relay app, but true of any tool in our space. Number 1, which is our preference, is totally self-serve. That's what gets you the best price. You just log in, you buy the self-serve professional plan, starts at $20 a month, or the team plan starts at $60 a month. I have 146 YouTube videos that show detailed tutorials about how to use every little thing in the app. We have a bunch of documentation. We have a Slack community. 90% of our customers, 80 to 90% of our customers are purely self-serve. And these are not technical people. They're marketers, lawyers, real estate agents, contractors, etc. It takes a little bit of effort and time. There is a learning curve. It does take some time to learn the skill, but that's totally self-serve. The second option is self-serve, but with one of our partners. So we have a network of about 100 partners who are automation and AI experts that focus on either different geographies or different tools. And you could hire a partner either on a one-off engagement to help you build things, or you could hire a partner to do a 2-hour training or a 3-hour training with your team and then go self-serve from there. And then the third would be an enterprise agreement with us. That's really for larger companies that want to roll out Relay app across their whole business and Then we would come up with a custom training plan and a custom set of office hours and custom department by department use case ideation and road mapping. Like that's like a proper enterprise software deployment. Think companies greater than 50 people are appropriate for that.
Uh, few more questions, Jacob. I know that we're all
Yeah.
out of time, but I've seen this question on social media, which is, can agents be wired up in a way to intelligently continue the conversation with the sponsor automatically? For example, if someone is saying out of
Yeah.
office, like that's a default message. What should happen then? And if they ask us to remind them in a month, how does that part work?
Yes. So there are two basic techniques. And again, this kind of depends on agent versus flowchart. The simplest thing you can do is you can have a sequence that's like, I wait for a reply from the person. And then depending on that reply, I put it into three buckets, which is, try again later, not interested, or interested. And then I do a custom reply. And you could kind of script it out entirely if you want to have complete control. The other thing you could do is you could set up an agent that just says, based on this reply, make your best guess of how to proceed. And that could mean wait till they're back in office and ping the thread again. It could mean, send to someone different in their organization because they have an out of office responder that says contact someone else. And so let me just quickly show you how to do that actually. Or do we have time? We have 2 more minutes. I think I can show you in 2 minutes.
Yeah,
So let me quickly show you in 2 minutes just to give you a sense of the technique. So instead of create draft, I'm going to do send email. And then I'm going to send it again to the email. I'm going to put in the subject. I'm going to put in the body. Now I'm going to wait for a reply to that email. The email is the email for step 3. And I'm going to wait for 7 days.
clear.
Now I'm going to have another AI step and say, based on the reply to my original email, what should we do next? And then you would proceed from there and you'd give the agent like, here's when we need to send a nudge. Here's when we need to find a different point of contact. Here's where I should mark them as not interested.
Okay. What one last one, even though I have
Yeah.
Shibra on the so people asking that. Of course, it looks like, of course, within the email, they sometimes have multiple sponsorship packages. There's someone for silver, someone for gold, someone for platinum. If it's on website, of course, you can put the link over there. But if it's an attachment, can you send an attachment with that open the Gmail stuff, and can the attachment be attached to that?
Yeah, exactly. So in your send email step, you can pull in an attachment. And the cool thing is you could even have if you have one attachment that you want to send to everyone. Oh, it looks like I wasn't able to share the screen for that. But yes, you can do an attachment. You could even ask the AI to be smart and say, based on the nature of this sponsor, which attachment is appropriate for them if you have multiple.
Two last questions, quick ones. Can we call custom APIs? For example, if someone did confirm, and after that we want to actually pull that information, put it on HubSpot, etc. So
Yes. So we have about 200 built-in integrations to build up. HubSpot is one of them. So most of the SaaS tools most companies use, you could add built-in steps just like with the Gmail send email. You could update a record in HubSpot. If it's a tool we don't support, yes, we support webhooks and custom HTTP requests. Those require a little bit more technical skill to set up, but are total. You might need help from a more technical member of your team if you're if you're a typical marketer, but it's totally doable.
one last question from Gurpreet. I have been using Relay.app regularly to build. I want to know, for such an agent, once the data set is huge in a realistic situation, is there any latency because of that?
So large language models do take longer to think when they're given more data and more complex tasks. This is true for sure. The reason I wouldn't worry too much about that is that in most cases, these tasks are happening behind the scenes in sort of a batch mode. And so it's not like you're going to be sitting at your computer waiting for 30 seconds. It's like if it takes 20 seconds or 30 seconds or 40 seconds or 2 seconds behind the scenes, it's all sort of equivalent to the end user. But yes, in general, if you ask a reasoning model to do a more complex task, it will take longer to think. And the other really important thing to keep in mind is all of the products we integrate with, Gmail, HubSpot, Google Sheets, they all have rate limits. So if you're sending if you're sending 1,000 emails at once from Gmail or making 1,000 updates to Google Sheets, that will take time. because most products only let us make one update per second. So if you want to do 1,000 updates, it would take several minutes.
You're on the back perspective of when to create that next agent rather than trying to make that first agent super complicated. Is there a
My personal preference is to have lots of simple agents. I find the simple agents that do one thing and do it well are much easier to understand, much easier to test, much easier to debug. And so my recommendation is always to have many 3 or 4 step agents rather than we have customers that have 1,500 step agents and they just become very, very hard to interact with. So my recommendation is always, when possible, break it up.
Jacob, this was mind blowing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I hope it was valuable. If anyone wants to get in touch, I'm at Jacob@Related App. Send me a note anytime.
thank you everyone for listening in. Reach out to Jacob via LinkedIn, via email, and we'll see you in the next webinar. Thank you, Jacob.
Thanks so much. See you next time. Bye.
Take care. Bye bye.